Yo, what's going on with y'all? It's your boy NeoXO coming back at y'all with another Black Clover video. Today I'm gonna be talking about Black Clover chapter 317. Me personally, I think we are in for a treat. I'm gonna be talking about the art, and I'm gonna be talking about, just the general plot and some rough translations at this time. Cause you always gotta support the official releases of these things. Like Sunday official release is gonna be the best quality, but with the early information we have, let's talk about that, because we just some Black Clover fans. We just like talking about Black Clover. So basically in this chapter we got some really good art. I'm only gonna be able to put like a sparing amount in this because the official release didn't come out yet, so it's gonna be very sparingly how I show images of the actual chapter. But as for talking about it, we can talk about anything. One of the coolest things in this chapter is the double spreads. Specifically, I see one talking about Asta and his union mode with a new sword. It's the same sword Captain Yami's, but it seems like it's new to Asta, you know what I mean? That type of thing, because he named it the Demon Slasher. Once again, that's a rough translation. Now, the Demon Slasher, if that actually gets translated one-to-one into English, I'm cool with that name right there. You guys can let me know if y'all like the way that sounds, but don't get too attached, because when the officials come out, they might change the name or something like that. Still, anyway, it's gonna have the same concept. Interesting concept. So all of his swords, we can see from this point, they all got demon in it, and it seems like it's gonna be continuing that trend if in fact Asta gets more swords. And when it comes to this sword right here, the Demon Slasher, I feel like Asta probably gonna get to keep it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's definitely still up for debate. But me personally, I think Asta is gonna get to keep this sword, especially when he out here with it, doing the things that he doing. And speaking about the things that he doing in this chapter right here, we see him actually taking after Captain Yami. Now we've been seeing this. If you guys didn't see this, I'll say what I've been seeing. I've been seeing Asta after he got picked up from the Magic Knights exams. Whenever he's around Yami, we can tell that Asta really respects Yami a lot, to a high degree. At the end of the day, Yami is Asta's main mentor, and the term mentor in this chapter means a lot, because Asta definitely has more than one mentor. And I'd say his two main mentors though is gonna have to be Noct and Yami. And in this chapter, it's really up to debate, because it seems like Asta passed up both of his mentors. I feel like they pushing the story in this direction, if not straight up saying it. So in this chapter, a lot of people are gonna be debating about that, how Asta pretty much may have finally surpassed Yami and Noct. So that's interesting to see. And it's cool because Asta actually is the one saving Captain Yami. It's cool to see, because in the beginning of the story, the beginning of the plot, Asta was not strong enough to save Captain Yami. So Captain Yami was the one doing all of the saving, pretty much. Like whenever Asta was fighting against Patri, there is no way Asta was going to be Patri at that time. So Captain Yami did save Asta at that time. And in a way, Captain Yami saved the Black Bulls in more than just a physical sense. He kind of saved them emotionally. He saved them when they were like on hard times. It doesn't have to do with life or death in all of the situations where Captain Yami saved these characters. He just saved some of them out of just unfortunate situations. So that's cool to see that. So now, cool, we got Asta. He has a new sword. He ends up going into Devil Union mode. I'm glad we get to see this form a little bit more. I'm pretty sure they said it has a 30-minute time frame on it, so something along those lines. So Asta's can't just go into this form forever, you know what I mean? Eventually, I do think he's gonna get to the point where this form is just gonna be second nature to him, meaning that it's just easy at that point. So I don't think he's fully at the point where this is just easy, but he's definitely at the point where if he put in some effort, then he could sustain this form. But like I said, eventually it's just gonna be effortless, him just being in this form forever, for however long he could do it. He could just do it with no concentration because he's just got it down pat in his memory. So Asta uses a technique that he definitely learned from Captain Yami, Demon Slasher Infinity / Equinox. Now, once again, I just gotta say it's a rough translation because there are some people who are gonna watch this video after the officials came out, and there are gonna be some people who watch this video like as soon as possible. So right now, this is rough translations, and if this turns out to be translated directly one-to-one into English, I like that name. And we know when it gets translated to English, it's gonna have the same concept, you know what I mean? So this Equinox, we already know where Asta got this from. He got this from Captain Yami. Whenever Captain Yami uses his Equinox, also with the same katana. That's why it's kind of interesting to me to see if Asta is going to keep this katana. Now, I'm going to let y'all in on my early theory. This is a very early theory. Now, I feel like Asta will keep the blade, and since he rescues Captain Yami in this chapter, and we know that there is a Haino country arc coming soon, the Land of the Rising Sun arc coming soon, perhaps Yami has to go there to get another blade, and Asta gets to keep this one. Very early theory, you know, very early theory. We're gonna have to look in the pages and see if there's some foreshadowing of that in the future, in the coming chapters, because it seems like with Asta coming in with his Devil Union form, he straight up destroys Lucifero's incomplete manifestation. That thing is gone, and he's able to save Captain Yami. Now, the reason he was able to save Captain Yami and William while damaging Lucifero is because it appears that Asta, his new attack, does not harm the people who he wants to protect. Now, the concept itself just sounds questionable, but I believe when you look deeper into it, this could just be explained as Asta just having a level of control over his anti-magic that it's just to the point where it's so exact that it just won't cut people who he's trying to protect, because he basically has so much control over it that he could control what it touches and what it doesn't. So that's just how, like, me personally, how I interpret that to be. But, you know, some people might interpret it more like literally and be like, okay, this spell just straight up can't hit people who he's trying to protect. It just goes through them. You know, it's just how people want to interpret it. And that might as well be the case as well. So we just gonna have to see in the future if there's any more depth built into this concept right here. So concluding this chapter right here, there's a page with Yami and Noct, and they're both pretty much like saying that Asta was able to do it, and they just agree on that straight up. Like, Asta was able to do it. They got a smile on their face, and they just really appreciating Asta. Everybody, even the Black Bulls just have full faith in Asta. Everybody put their faith in Asta, and it seems like when looking at the last page that Asta just straight up surpassed Noct and Yami. So that's going to be interesting to see how Noct and Yami's character arcs continue to pan out, being surpassed by somebody like Asta. Obviously, Captain Yami's still going to be the captain unless something ends up killing him, I feel like, because, you know, you never know what the side effects of being used as a pawn in the Tree of Clifford's ritual. You never know what the side effects of something like that is going to be. So we're just going to have to see when it comes to that. Now, based on the information we have so far, the new information and the information we had before this, we're just going to say that Captain Yami is actually saved based on the information that we have right now. So that's how the chapter ends off. I mean, everybody's going to be happy with this. Asta went into his form and he saved the day in a very cool fashion. And we got to be happy for our boy. He got the dub and he just waiting to go forward from here. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up, comment, and a subscribe. It's been your boy NeoXO, and I'm out.